When we say the psychological effect of being a firstborn in Nigeria, what do we mean? Let's break it down by defining the key words in the topic. Psychological. Psychological refers to anything related to the mind and mental processes, thoughts, emotions, personality, behavior, perception, and coping patterns. Effects. Effects are the outcomes, consequences, or results that occur due to a particular condition or experience. They can be positive, negative, short term, long term, emotional, cognitive, and behavioral. Firstborn. The firstborn is, like we all know, the first child born to a set of parents. Now, putting it all together, it means the mental, emotional, and behavioral outcomes that arise as a result of occupying the position of the first child in a family. In many African homes, being the firstborn is not just a birth order, it's a position. It comes with responsibility, expectation, and authority, often long before the child is ready for it. These expectations shape the firstborn's psychology in specific ways across school, friendship, relationship, work, and eventually parenting. In each of these areas, the effects are both empowering and damaging. However, these same expectations also carry psychological costs, and in school, they don't just produce strengths, they also create strain. So, on the negative side, the psychological effects of being a firstborn include number one, parentification. Parentification is a family dynamic where a child is forced to take on the role of a parent, either to their own parents or to siblings, before they are developmentally ready. Example, a 12-year-old firstborn misses playtime to babysit siblings and handle household duties normally meant for adults. Number two, chronic pressure and anxiety. A firstborn panics over minor academic setbacks because they believe the family's hope rests on their success. Number three, perfectionism. Example, even after doing well, the firstborn fixates on small mistakes, replaying them mentally instead of celebrating progress. Number four, emotional suppression. When overwhelmed, the firstborn hears, "You are the eldest. Be strong," and learns to hide emotional distress. Number five, resentment towards siblings. Example, the firstborn silently resents younger siblings for having more freedom and fewer responsibilities. Number six, control issues. Example, in friendships or group projects, the firstborn struggles to delegate, feeling uneasy when others take charge. Number seven, burnout. A young adult firstborn works multiple jobs to support family members and feels guilty resting or spending money on themselves. Number eight, self worth tied to usefulness. For example, when unemployed or financially strained, the firstborn feels ashamed, believing they have failed their role. But school is not the only place where firstborn psychology shows up. Outside the classroom, it becomes even more visible in friendships because firstborns are often raised to be dependable. This carries into how they relate with friends. On the positive side, the psychological effects include number one, natural leadership in friend groups. Example, in a group of friends, the firstborn is the one planning hangouts, settling misunderstandings, or deciding what everyone should do next. Number two, dependability and loyalty. Example, friends call the firstborn first when there is a serious problem because she won't joke with it or it will show up. Number three, emotional maturity. Example, while others are laughing things off, the firstborn notices when a friend is withdrawn and checks in quietly. Number four, mediator role. When friends quarrel, the firstborn is asked to talk to both sides and calm things down. Number five, protective instincts. Example, the firstborn stands up for a friend being bullied or taken advantage of, even if it puts them at odds with others. But socially, these strengths also come at a cost. The negative psychological effects in friendships include 1. Becoming the therapist friend. Example: friends constantly offload emotional problems onto the firstborn but rarely ask how they are coping. 2. Difficulty being carefree. Example: while friends joke around, the firstborn feels tensed or distracted, thinking about responsibilities waiting at home. 3. One-sided friendships. Example: the firstborn is always the one giving advice, money, or help, but support is missing when they need it. Number 4. Trouble asking for help. For example, even when overwhelmed, the firstborn says I'm fine because they are used to being the strong one. Number 5. Feeling older than peers. Example: a firstborn struggles to relate to friends who seem more playful or carefree, leading to emotional distance. Number 6. Control issues in social settings. Example: when they grow older, these psychological patterns don't disappear. They simply move into more formal spaces like the workplace. In work and career settings, the psychology of the firstborn often becomes an advantage. So, on the positive side, the psychological effects of being a firstborn at work includes strong work ethic. Example: a firstborn arrives early, stays late, and takes tasks seriously because they were raised to do things properly. Number 2, leadership and initiative. Example: even without a formal title, the firstborn naturally coordinates tasks and ensures deadlines are met. Number 3, reliability and accountability. Example: supervisors trust the firstborn with important responsibilities because they constantly deliver. Number 4, high tolerance for pressure. Example: in high stress work environment, the firstborn remains composed and focused while others panic. Number 5, long-term career thinking. Example: a firstborn chooses a stable career path, considering family expectations and future responsibilities. Number 6, problem-solving orientation. Example: when something breaks down at work, the firstborn steps in to fix it instead of waiting for instructions. However, the same sense of responsibility that earns trust can also become a burden. So, on the negative side, the psychological effects of being a firstborn at work includes: number 1, overworking and burnout. Example: a firstborn consistently takes on extra shifts or tasks, feeling guilty saying no until exhaustion sets in. Number 2, difficulty delegating. Example: even as a team lead, the firstborn prefers doing things themselves rather than trusting others. Number 3, identity tied to productivity. Example: during unemployment or job loss, the firstborn experiences deep shame and loss of self worth. Number 4, fear of failure. A firstborn avoids taking risks or changing jobs due to fear of disappointing family expectations. Number 5, financial pressure and provider stress. Example: a firstborn feels obligated to support siblings' education or parents' needs, even when financially strained. Number 6, control and authority struggles. Example: at work, the firstborn clashes with supervisors or colleagues when roles and authority feels unclear. They are valued employees but often overused. These patterns don't stop at work. They also shape how firstborns show up in romantic relationships. In relationships, firstborn psychology often expresses itself through commitment and stability. So, on the positive side, the psychological effects of being a firstborn in relationships include: number 1, sense of responsibility and commitment. A firstborn takes relationships seriously, avoids playing games, and thinks long term about marriage and stability. Number 2, protective and providing instincts. For example, a firstborn feels responsible for their partner's safety and well being, checking in regularly and stepping up during crisis. Number 3, emotional stability under pressure. For example, during conflicts, the firstborn remains calm, trying to fix the issue instead of escalating it. Number 4, reliability and consistency. For example, The firstborn shows up when they say they will. They keep promises and follows through on plan. Number five, high tolerance for stress. Example, even during financial or family strain, the firstborn stays committed rather than pulling away. But intimacy requires more than responsibility, and here the same traits can create emotional distance. So, on the negative side, the psychological effects of being a firstborn in relationships include difficulty being emotionally vulnerable. Example, a firstborn struggles to express fear, sadness, or need, believing they must always appear strong. Number two, over-functioning in relationships. Example, the firstborn does most of the emotional labor, planning, resolving conflicts, and supporting the partner, leading to imbalance. Number three, control and authority issues. Example, the firstborn unconsciously adopts a parental tone, correcting or directing their partner rather than relating as equals. Number four, fear of failure or abandonment. Because they are used to being depended on, the firstborn becomes anxious about disappointing their partner. Number five, difficulty receiving care. Example, when a partner tries to help, the firstborn resists or minimizes their own needs. Number six, resentment from overgiving. Example, the firstborn feels unappreciated after repeatedly giving money, time, or emotional energy. They give stability easily, but vulnerability feels unsafe. Eventually, many firstborns find themselves standing on the other side of authority as parents. And when firstborns become parents, they often unconsciously reproduce the structure they were raised in. Their sense of responsibility can make them structured, intentional, and protective parents. So, on the positive side, the psychological effects of being a firstborn in parenting includes number one, strong sense of responsibility. Example, a firstborn parent is intentional about providing food, education, and structure, even under financial pressure. Number two, protective and involved parenting. Example, the parent closely monitors their child's schoolwork, friends, and daily routines to ensure they don't go astray. Number three, clear structure and discipline. Example, children grow up with routines, boundaries, and expectations because the firstborn parent values order. Number four, early planning and foresight. Example, a firstborn parent plans ahead for school fees, healthcare, and future needs well in advance. Number five, modeling responsibility to children. Example, children observe consistency, hard work, and accountability through the parents' daily behavior. However, unresolved pressure from their own upbringing can resurface in rigid expectations and emotional distance. On the negative side, the psychological effect of being a firstborn in parenting includes number one, rigid and high expectations. Example, a firstborn parent expects their child to mature quickly, echoing the pressure they experienced growing up. Number two, emotional distance. The parent provides materially but struggles to express affection or emotional reassurance. Number three, recreating the eldest child burden. The first child is given excessive responsibility for younger siblings at a young age. Number four, low tolerance for mistakes. Minor errors attract strong correction because the parent equates mistakes with failure. Number five, control over autonomy. The parent tightly controls choices, courses, careers, or even friendship, believing it's for their own good. Number six, unresolved pressure passed down. Financial stress and emotional strain spill into parenting, even when unspoken. Many firstborns become the parents they needed, and sometimes the parents they were raised by. In many African homes, the firstborn is raised to carry weight, often quietly, often early. And across school, friendships, relationships, work, and parenting, we see the same pattern repeat. The traits that make the firstborn dependable, are the same traits that can exhaust them. Responsibility builds strength, but when it comes too soon, it also leaves scars. Understanding the psychology of the firstborn is not about blame, it's about recognition. Because when we understand the weight placed on the first child, we begin to raise not just strong firstborns, but whole, supported human beings.